You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, back in Lagos, Olamide is standing by to tell us everything trending from all around the world. We're trending now. Good morning, Olamide. How are you doing?
Good morning again, team. Why are we all matching today? We're like the Brown Patrol.
I know.
Let's see what everyone's talking about this morning, shall we?
Take it away.
Good morning, Nigeria. Like I always say, TVC has a finger on the pulse and an eye on the streets. And here on the Trending Now segment, my team and I do our best to bring you trending stories that are shaping the world that you and I live in. We begin today with some sad and shocking news out of Plateau State, where police have arrested a 200-level student of agriculture at the University of Jos, identified as Nampon Timnan, for allegedly murdering his best friend and burying him in a shallow grave inside his room. Now, the victim was 22-year-old Peter Mafuyai, and he was a 300-level student of banking and finance, and he was reportedly attacked and killed after the both of them returned from a recording session at a nearby studio. Witnesses say that the pair were known to share a passion for music, and they had spent the day together before tragedy struck. And investigations now suggest that the two friends may have fallen out over a music project that they were working on, although the exact motive for the murder remains unclear at this moment. But police operatives from the Laranto division have since exhumed the victim's body from the room, and they've deposited it at the Bingham University Teaching Hospital morgue for an autopsy. It's very sad. These two men were friends, and the story is going viral online because they've released several music projects together. This is so sad indeed. May his soul rest in peace. Let's take a look at social media. King Gary says, darkness doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it grows beside us. It wears a familiar face, and it calls us friend. And Mazi Uche Okeudo says, this is a heartbreaking event that reminds us how fragile life is and how dangerous unchecked anger or cruelty can be. Every life has value, and harming another brings pain that lasts far beyond the moment. It is a call for society to teach empathy, guide the youth, and uphold justice to protect the innocent. Team, we've got a lot to get into today, so can we just please be very quick with our comments? I thought it was very interesting because these two young men were friends, and to see that not only did he kill him, he buried him inside his house. We are seeing a new wave of serial killing in Nigeria. It was formerly a Western concept, but it seems that it's very much rampant even back here at home. Yes,
that young man is just simply a killer. You know, he's just simply a killer. I mean, I don't think there's any controversy that will make a university student want to kill his best friend and bury him in his... The guy is just a killer.
Olamide, they really need to watch that guy, you know, because I hope this is not going to be like a pattern with him, because you didn't just kill somebody, you now buried the person. Like, these are some of the things I used to watch on some channels. I'm now hearing you talk about it, and I'm seeing that it has happened in Nigeria. I think he really needs to be watched. I just hope that he's not one of those people that they are sick in the head and it's a pattern for them.
It's not even the first time such thing is being reported in Nigeria. There are so many sick people who are moving on the street, some of them well-dressed, but they are absolutely sick. What is a 300-level student, you know, doing with the dead body and now burying in the room? Such person should be behind bars.
Absolutely. If you're watching back home, my young people, be safe and watch the friends that you keep. Thank you for your input, team. Moving on into the world of social media, a social media experiment by a content creator known as Teaser Prank is stirring a major debate online after it exposed the troubling attitudes within some of Nigeria's religious spaces. Now, in the viral video, the skit maker disguised himself in shabby clothing and attempted to enter several churches to pray. He was reportedly turned away by church security, and in some cases, he was treated very badly and mocked for his appearance. However, when he visited a mosque, he was welcomed and allowed to join prayers. But take a look at the video for yourself.
Go and pray. Want to go and pray? Wait, hold on. Oh. The service is over now.
I want to enter. Yes. I want to go and praise God.
Now go.
I want to go inside the church. What? So what I go do to come inside? What I go do?
Of course, this clip has ignited fierce conversations on social media, with many Nigerians, including myself, questioning the depth of compassion within modern-day worship spaces and whether some religious institutions have drifted from the core message of love and acceptance that Christianity preaches. Let's take a look at what you have to say about this on social media. This went very viral, over 20K retweets. Ash says, people in the comment section saying he dressed like a madman. Does a madman speak good constructed English? Okay, let's say he was perceived as mad. A madman shouldn't be allowed to enter the church. A special seat outside can be provided for anyone perceived to be mad. You can always isolate them from the rest of the church. We are all equal before the Lord. Those people refuse to acknowledge the truth. God help us all. Interesting. I'll take 3 more tweets very quickly. T-Fair Tattoo says, madness and poverty are 2 different things. This guy dressed up as a madman and you expect the security forces to allow him into where people are gathered. It'd be like saying you never see damages where madman don't cause before. It's just a play. And BD says, even madmen are allowed into the church. What if that's where he'll be delivered? Experiment or not, the church should be a safe place for all if we truly serve God. Would Jesus chase him away even if he looks like a madman? Jesus delivered the madman of Gadara. Interesting. And finally, Mazi Chigoze says, dressing like a mad person and carrying a bag that might be detrimental to members of a church defeats the experiment. Dress poor and neat, and then I go fit talk waiting day my mind. Team, this skit maker, why I found this story very interesting is because he's not doing the usual skits that we see online with laughter. He's conducting a social experiment here that is giving us valuable data for the world that we live in. You know, we call ourselves Christian, whatever the case may be, and yet this man showed up and he was turned away from several churches in real time, churches that people attend and claim to be a community. This was very unacceptable, whereas on the other hand, a mosque welcomed him, accepted him, and even taught him the ritual of ablution. Now, people are saying he was just like a madman. I think he was just shabbily, but what do you make of it?
Yeah, the security men can do a whole lot of things that the church itself doesn't stand for. You know, I'm not holding brief for whatever church he attended, but I don't think that any real Christian church will turn anybody out because he is not looking very well. What might be a little bit concerning is the bag he's holding, you know, the spate of and all bombs and all that. And these guys are security men, so they are thinking like security men. But someone will say, but he went to the mosque still carrying the bag and they accepted him, you know. It is a social experiment that will cause controversy and people will keep talking about it for a very long time.
Olamide, this one really got to me. And I wouldn't really say so much on this because I don't want God to punish me with the things that I have in mind to say. I know that no church would not let him in the church, even though they think he's a mad person. They can check the bag and still let him in the church. But unfortunately now, most of the churches that we have, I don't think they are called by God. They are called by their fathers. These pastors are not called by God. Because if you're truly called by God and you are a church, there is no way that you would not allow a madman in the church. I mean, Jesus loved everybody. Jesus never discriminated. All the thing that I would say they should have done is to check the bag to be sure what was inside, or tell him, leave the bag but you can enter. Nobody should be stopped from entering the house of God. And trust me, this thing that he has done is just teaching us a lot of things. I'm not trying to start a religious war because, you know, the Muslims allowed him in. I just believe that a real church, like Etoma said, will not say that you're not looking good enough to go into the church.
Well, we may want to cut that particular church some slack. The security guys probably were doing what they were doing because it's just normal that when people see people, you know, not well dressed, they ask questions, they want to query, especially with the issue of insecurity in the country at the moment. Going to the mosque, being allowed into the mosque, one thing is certain about the religion of Islam. God will not accept, God is pure, he will not accept anything except that which is pure. Your purity is not only in your heart, but also in the way you're dressed. So if you are not well dressed, maybe your cloth is dirty, nobody will say, do not come into the mosque, but they probably will just advise you, come on, you need to just dress well. If you are into, you know, mechanic works, you know, repairing cars and then you look dirty, you only be advised to dress neatly to, you know, to pray in the mosque. But normally, people don't turn people back from entering the mosque, but it's always very good to look good whenever you're going to pray. So I don't say anything bad in the church, asking the guy, you know, because of the way he's dressed. But we should not profile people because of the way they dress.
Of course.
You know, at the end of the day.
And Olamide, I know there's no time, but let me just say something quickly. I do not really read my Bible like that. If I'm wrong, correct me. I know that the woman with the issue of blood, even though she was dirty and everything, God still said,
that is a very valuable point.
Do you understand? You can still, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Christians, forgive me. I don't really read the Bible. But you could tell that, you know, he still allowed her touch the hem of his dress. See, it doesn't matter how you're looking. It matters your heart. God is looking for your heart
soul,
and not what you're wearing.
Indeed. And this reminds me of that famous quote that says, we are physical beings having a spiritual experience. My biggest takeaway from this is that a skit can be valuable social experiments.
True.
Thank you so much, team.
Yeah.
Moving on, still in the world of social media, a video from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, FUTO, has sparked outrage online, showing an architecture lecturer destroying a student's painstakingly built model during a project presentation. Now, according to this student, this lecturer accused him of not creating the model himself, claiming that it was too advanced for his skill level. In response, the student took to TikTok, sharing a detailed video that showed the process of him making it step by step, from buying the materials to assembling the final design. Of course, people are angry online, especially students and education advocates. They feel as though this young man is being treated unfairly, especially at a time when the tertiary sector is facing looming strikes, raised tuition fees, and a lot of institutional frustrations within the education sector. But let's take a look at social media. Let's see what you had to say. Kel says, you guys should tag the Vice Chancellor of FUTO to see what the students in the Department of Architecture are going through. These students go through hell to produce sheets. They bring their own generators, they fuel it, and they pay for refreshments for those lecturers to eat. I Speak says, you see why many talented students lose interest? The moment you try to do something extraordinary, someone in the authority feels intimidated. Instead of saying, well done, they try to bring you down to their level. Interesting. And finally, Tem says, this is Nigerian syndrome of when it gets to my turn, I will oppress. Lecturer is doing what was also done to him. No room for creativity. And you wonder why all our buildings look the same. Team, if you ask me, that's absolutely unacceptable. Several times, we've discussed the ASU strike. We've discussed the constraints and the difficulties that students in our education system are facing. To now deal with that, they now have to deal with their social welfare in school, with lecturers like this bullying them.
Of being a lecturer. A lecturer is supposed to identify talent. Yes, you're supposed to identify a genius and encourage the genius to go further. What he would have done was to be sure to ask questions and be sure that this thing was actually done by him. And I'm sure those TikTok videos would have convinced him that he reacted immediately the way he did. I think it's transferred aggression, but for a professional, it is completely wrong.
Very wrong. I agree with you. Transferred aggression. Some of them are coming from, a lot of troubles in the house, and they get to school and then they push it on those children. There's no reason for you to do this. Even though that wasn't the person that did it, there are better ways that you can handle it. And why destroy something very good? So it just shows that do not bring personal problems to your work. This is what will happen, actually. I leave the case there. I drop it there.
Well, some lecturer, if this story is anything to go by, that lecturer must be a killjoy. He does not have he has no joy at all.
Yes.
You should be happy that your students was able to do something like that. That's why some lecturers don't call themselves lecturers, they call themselves teachers, because they want to impart beyond just getting into a classroom and lecturing. You should have called the students to replicate the same thing he had done in order for you to be sure. How can you just outrightly say someone cannot do something phenomenal?
You are killing the morale of the person, actually.
Ibrahim, I love the fact that you pointed out that the difference between a teacher and a lecturer.
And a lecturer, yes.
Thank you so much.